It's nice to be with you. I want to thank Dan and team for inviting us and inviting this panel. And I'm looking forward to the panel. I'm hopeful that it'll be very helpful for you and stimulating. I want to start, though, at the beginning by just asking you, and I know this will be a little tough, there's a lot going on in the world, right? We've got a hurricane now that's already in Puerto Rico. We've had Harvey, we've had Irma, we wake up this morning and over 200 people have died at least in an earthquake in Mexico. I think it's fitting for us, at least initially here, to pause and observe a moment of silence on behalf of the people who have been adversely impacted and lost relatives, et cetera, in all of these tragedies. And so if you'll indulge me with a moment of silence here at the beginning. Thank you. So I live in Virginia, and I got up Monday morning to travel to the Bay Area, and I boarded a plane at 6:30 in the morning and went to Charlotte and then boarded a plane in Charlotte. And when I boarded the plane in Charlotte, a young lady came next to me and she asked me if I could help her put her bag in the compartment above the seats, and I did that, and then she went into the seat by the window, and after a while, I could see she was agitated, and I looked over at her and I said, "Are you all right?" She says, "I can't get to sleep." There was nobody sleeping between us or sitting between us, so she reclined and went to sleep. And then 3.5 hours later, she woke up, and we were about to land in San Francisco. And something possessed me to ask her that she get a good nap. And she then responded with her story. And I want to share that story with you because I want to make sure that at the end of the day, we remember at the end of the day, this is all about people. Transit, whatever we do in the development space is all about people. This young lady was moving to Oakland, did not have a job, was leaving a job where she had been raped by her boss, and was leaving that hometown. Did not have a place to live, was going to stay with a friend for as long as the friend allowed, was 26 years old, had graduated from a university in the South, and honestly was wondering if she was going to be able to make it. And at one point, she said to me, "I'm not sure I can do anything anymore." This is a 26-year-old college-educated young lady. And she said, "What should I do?" And I listened mostly because this was definitely way above my pay grade, but we talked about her keeping confidence in herself. We talked about what she wanted to do, which was eventually to own her own restaurant. And we talked about some of the things that I did coming along. She was a real reminder for me of what these mayors in these cities are doing in terms of their jobs. This lady, when she arrives at Oakland, will need a job. She will need a job that will enable her to make at least a livable wage, which means that we've always got to be trying to bring more jobs to our cities. She will need to be equipped for those jobs, which probably needs more training, which means in all of these cities, we have to continue to invest in workforce development, in training our people. She will need access to health care. This lady was clearly in need, in particular, of mental health services. She was still shaken by this experience with her boss, a boss that she had trusted greatly. She will need access to housing, access to health care, access to jobs. And she will need a city that is willing to invest in her. That's the work that ultimately we're talking about. At the end of the conversation, she started crying. And she said to me, "Do you believe in God?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, "Well, will you pray with me?" And so, at the end of that ride, we prayed. Last night, after I left the restaurant, when I walked outside to get Uber, I got a text message from this young lady who just said to me, "I'm doing all right, thank you." That's all she said. The question for us today that we're going to try to explore is how we leverage the transit assets in our cities to make sure that this young lady can get the training, can get the housing, can get the jobs that she needs to be who she wants to be. Nothing tidy and neat about that, but it is ultimately the job that we do in our cities. It is ultimately the job that these mayors lead us through in our cities. We take our packages, our assets as we get them. And then it's their job with us to create the environments that will allow people to create and share in prosperity. That's what we're going to talk about today. And at the end of the day, I want you to remember that lady's story, because that's who we're working on behalf of. So we've got a series of questions that we're going to try to go through that are all about transit and prosperity, creating it and sharing it. And we'll see where it goes. I want to thank the mayors. I want to thank them for their leadership. I think the mayor's jobs are the hardest and the most important jobs in our country right now. There's lots of focus on what's happening nationally, but the greatest assets for opportunity in our communities are local. And the mayors are the conductors of the local orchestra. We need to support them and work with them in every way we can. So let's get started. Thank you. I appreciate it.